Wait, doesn't your phone's get?
Hey, y'all. We have such a great show today. Tanjanzu, sis, you are first in the room today. Great. Send it Zelle. Send it Zelle. You have to send more than the 10 if you're going to do Cash App. But thank you so much. I see you. I see you. First in the room again today. Welcome, welcome. You all, let's put our glowers up. Y'all know what we do when we get in here. We have to put our glowers up. Put your glowers up if you're in the room. We're going to have a very special show today with the African Millennial. You all, if you have not visited or subscribed to her channel yet, please do. She has great discussions regarding just the diaspora and living in the US as opposed to, just being African American Black living in different places. Hey, mom and daughter. Oh my gosh. Hello. Mom and daughter, I am so sorry. My laptop went down last week. And with that, it was one of my the card that was linked into one of the accounts went down. And so my membership didn't post, but I'm a member. And so I need to repost that. Hello. Because I'm definitely a member of Mom and Daughter, and I'm working on something very special to just pay homage to all of the YouTube content creators that have influenced me and have encouraged me and inspired me. And of course, Mom and Daughter is top of that list. Hey, Naima, welcome, welcome. Y'all are in here today. We're going to get in here. We are please do so. She has a great channel that just leads really needed conversations regarding the culture, the community, and the people, the diaspora, with us, residing in these different lands. So no matter where we are, being Black is an experience, y'all, and she is definitely here for it. Hey, how are you, Sir Senior? Salute indeed, salute. Hey, Cocoa Butter Barbie, you made it. Y'all better throw these glowers up. Y'all are in this room today. Let me show my face because y'all are in here. I gotta say hello to my people. Y'all look into these eyes, y'all. Um, I am excited to just be here to continue to use this space as a platform for having great conversations. And let me tell you, I was on African Millennials show actually 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago now. And we discussed. Hello, Hannah. Welcome. Naima found that light bulb today, y'all. She glowing. You guys, I am working on something very big with with this brand, and I just can't wait to just really be able to share all that I'm working on. It's kind of like when you're working on things, it's kind of like, you don't want to tell people the baby before it's birth, I mean, before you get to a certain point. So I'm just working on a couple of things that I'm really excited to share with you all. But continuing to grow this brand, continuing to grow and glow up this movement, you all are such inspiration. So, ooh, she said she was watching and waiting. Hey, Donnie goes in. How are you? Welcome. Peace, power, light, and unity to my A1 family. Right. And we are going to coming to the stage. Woo! Hello, sis. How are you?
Hey, I'm so happy to be here.
Oh my
Hey,
God, you look
first and
great.
foremost,
Oh my gosh.
what? Oh
Welcome,
no,
welcome. You look awesome. I'm so sorry. I'm so dimly lit. Yeah,
it's
that's
okay.
why, usually I have on my logo.
Yeah.
No, you look amazing. Like you're glowing. You're glowing, sis. Absolutely. And the room is filling up. I can't wait for this conversation. We weren't able to discuss beforehand because usually I like to hop on and have a conversation with guests before we go on. But I knew it would flow so naturally. But I forgot to ask you what would have been, because usually I have a song that's playing, but y'all know since I am with new equipment, I haven't tested these speakers yet. So that's the reason why I didn't want you to think I'm doing you wrong, millennial. I didn't want you to think I'm but if there was a song, what would that song have been? Huh?
No, to be honest, I was like, this is a little different because watching from some of your shows, you normally do have the music, but it's whatever. Who cares?
But and I love that because in my day, I just thought I was a bit of a, I always felt like it's a DJ. I have a DJ spirit, even in my book. And thank you again for supporting. Girl, that was such a surprise because I just didn't know how long everything was going to take to post. And it didn't even tell me that it posted. It just appeared. It was like magic money. So thank you again for supporting. So I hope, when you read that book, so the main character, Camille, she's a DJ. And so music really, plays out. So you can see my love for music even in my writing, how it plays out. Cocoa Butter Barbie said, hey, yes, sis. And I am going to drop the link to your channel because I was just telling some of my glowers and lighters about, the great discussions that you're leading over there. I've been binging your channel for a couple of days, right? And so I'm like, you know what? You really, I'm going to say almost sis, a little bit with a different perspective. Even the last video that you did, no, because you're thinking of these things that you're going through, but at Black Men of Faith, because I am when I tell you a big African culture, African history, like zealot. And growing up, my mom, it was a reason why I wanted a son, because my mom, she always talked about just how hard Black men had it. And I just couldn't wait to have a son because I wanted to pour that in. And I will show you right now, my son is sleeping. Okay. My daughter's up though, and she's helping with the show, but my son is sleeping. But it definitely is a different, they have to be handled with different gloves. Men have to be handled with different gloves because it's the ego thing, but at the same time, what's facing them. So I really loved your perspective. I love how you twisted it. You even had me thinking of it differently, because even as someone who has a son, I'm not thinking of that in regards to when I'm dating. You understand? I'm thinking of, I'm not gonna be soft gloving no grown man. But your take and your perspective definitely had me look at it like, you know what? I mean, it's the drop my phone. That's one thing I can tell you that I am so grateful for is the relationship that I have still continued with my ex-husband's mother, because it was an apology I owed her for not being the type of wife that I should have been to her son. And that when I wrote her that letter after our divorce, it totally changed the dynamic of our relationship. Because before that letter, it was just, hey, kids, how are the kids? And that was the nature. But after I wrote that letter and I really apologized for not being the type of wife to him that he needed in order to, have that fortitude to reach the next level, our relationship changed, and I'm very grateful for that. And even to this day, it's been 8 years now since the divorce, and we still have we have a very decent relationship, much more real than it was when we were married, than when I was married to her son. So I'm glad you see that. You saw that early. Like I said, in my 20s, I didn't see that. I didn't see that until after the divorce. But the fact that you see it and you addressed it, that conversation was so needed. I've watched it a couple of times, and I thank you again for. I just thank you again for bringing it truth to fold. Hey, Diamond Princess, welcome, welcome. They're in here tonight for you, so I'm going to let you have the stage, sis. I'm going to go ahead and distract myself. But yes, let me know, what would have been your intro song? If you could have chosen your intro song, what would it have been?
I have no idea. Probably Ain't No Stopping Us Now.
Girl, you got to choose something from your generation. I was gonna play you some Rihanna. I like, to me, Rihanna she's a millennial. She's a powerful millennial.
Rihanna would have been.
Rihanna would have been.
Better have money.
I love her too. Is HER a millennial or is millennial? She's a millennial, right? I love her.
I think she's.
I love her. I think she's a millennial too. Yeah. But Rihanna would have been perfect. But that's what I was thinking. I was like, gonna do some "We Found Love in a Hopeless Place." Ooh, we found love in a hopeless place. Ooh, we were gonna be jamming. But when I get my equipment more, when I know what the playback sounds like, and when I get everything synced, we're going to definitely have you back on, and we're going to have some music. We're going to jam. So without further ado, you all, let's put up our glowers, please, for the lady of the hour, our guest today on the problem with millennials. We're going to get into it, y'all. So y'all get ready, because it's going to be a ride. I am for sure. So, and excuse my workout equipment, my workout gear. Let me come on out of the room and go in, and let's have our dear queen sis.
Hey everybody, so my name is African Millennial. Courtney already did a wonderful introduction. First and foremost, where are you guys calling from? Like, let me know the country or the state where you guys are calling from, because I like to know who I'm talking to. And also, because of the topic of this conversation, also let me know if you're from the ages of 14 to 24, do you mind typing in A? If you're from 24 to 34, B. If you're from 34 to 44, C. And if you're older than that, do you mind putting in a D in the comment section? I kind of just want to know. No, I want to know. So anyways, yeah, I'm a business owner. I graduated from college not long ago. And you know what? Like, being a millennial, it's really difficult. You know what I mean? Like, I know a lot of you guys really go hard on them, because I admit they were raised really wrongly, but you guys really don't understand what the modern millennial has to go through. So we're going to take this from the beginning. Sub-Zero last week was talking about baby boomers, right? So I don't know about you guys, but my parents fall under the baby boomer generation. And I'll say this, baby boomers really dropped the ball. They dropped the ball in government, and they also dropped the ball in raising the future millennials. Now, I don't know about you, I'm not a parent yet, but when I speak to a lot of parents, they say that the most important thing is to give their kids a life that they've never had. And in as much as I agree with that sentiment, it's also the sentiment of the reason why millennials are monsters, the monsters of today, because they don't know struggle. And I'm not saying that they need to just know struggle, but if your kids don't know any type of struggle, they're going to be spoiled. A lot of women in my generation, they think that cooking craft dinner, no KD out of the box, is considered cooking. I don't know about you guys, but my grandmother, the way she would slave, okay, maybe that's not a good word, the way that she would shut it down in the kitchen for hours on end, she didn't even use a recipe book. Like, the recipes were in her mind. And that's what we call real cooking. But if you're a fella and you're dating a millennial today, I feel kind of bad for you, because a lot of them think that cooking pasta is cooking. Like, how is boiling noodles on a stovetop? No offense, but how is that considered cooking? Like, that's putting something together, but cooking. And if we look at the men, a lot of millennial men nowadays, they also, I don't know what's going on, but guys, I know like 35-year-olds, no offense, but I know 35-year-olds that still play video games. And I'm sitting here like, okay, I get de-stressing, I get that life can be stressful, but the way these men are spending hours on video games, like, could you imagine in 20 years when these men become, you know, like grandfathers and they're still out here playing video games? Like, what's really going on? What's going on with millennials? And that attitude, right? The attitude. I've spoken to a couple of girls my age, and I actually know this one lady. Like, she's really cool, 24, beautiful girl. She went to school to become a nurse, and right now she's on OnlyFans because she's saying that OnlyFans is giving her more money than her college degree. This is what we're dealing with. And if you go and you talk to them about it, about why that's not the best choice or why they gotta tone it down, then they'll give you an attitude like, you're infringing on my rights. It's like, huh? Your right to be a what? Your right to be a what? It's like they want to be out here, do whatever they want, right? But then when they get to the age of, like, let's say 47 and onwards, then they start complaining. But you were cool with being a thought in 21. You were cool with being a thought in college at 21, at 25, at 31, but all of a sudden at 47, we're supposed to forget that stage. I know that's kind of like the traditional part of me speaking, but it's like, who's telling these girls that you don't have to do everything? Who's telling them? And then when you do try to tell them, then they come back at you and they automatically take it as an attack. And again, I think that stems down to how they were raised, because a lot of them were raised to basically be princesses, or you had their moms who probably not that they weren't raised right, but I think there was a shift in around the 80s and the 90s where a lot of women started to, I guess, want to not just be at home and do more things that men were doing. And now we're still in that stage where you have women who don't understand that you actually cannot be out here doing a lot of things that men do. Because if you do, that's fine. But then when you get older, that's kind of when you wish you didn't do it. And now when we're talking about, I guess, another reason why millennials are angry is, if you look at it this way, the government really let us down. Because back in the days, in the baby boomer generation and the generation after that, all you needed was to have knowledge and skills. Like, you could be a carpenter, you could be an electrician and do good. But now, if you graduate with a degree, that's like the next high school diploma. So you can't even get a job. So there are a lot of millennials out here that are actually $100,000 plus in debt. Imagine being like 21 or 22 and you already have $100,000, $200,000 of just college debt. And then because society and your parents lied to you and said all you need to do is go to school and get an education and you'll be good, you're in debt and you want to buy your first house, you can't even afford your first house. So that's why a lot of these millennials have this attitude of, I don't care, you can't tell me nothing, because they're pissed, they're angry, they're upset. And then you'll have some people who say, okay, don't worry about it, there are no jobs out there, but just learn a trade. Okay, why didn't you tell me that before I went $100,000, $200,000 in college debt? Why did you not just tell me in school that I should do a trade, instead of you telling me in school, get a degree And then after I get my degree and I find out that it's probably useless, then you tell me, oh, you should have done trades. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's why they're pissed. That's why they're angry. It's like they're broke. And then another thing is they've been passed down a lot of debt, because if you look at the way that the United States and a lot of these Western countries they're trillions of dollars in debt. So it's like, instead of us inheriting wealth or inheriting other things, we inherited debt and global warming. Right now, a lot of countries, they said that they're trying to get rid of plastic wastes and all of this stuff, and they're trying to reduce the carbon emissions of global warming. And I'm sitting there saying, but the people born of today, we didn't even create this problem, but you're telling us that we have to fix this problem? How does that make any sense? You're telling me cars were invented in the 1920s, right? And people didn't really start buying cars till, I believe it was the 50s or the 60s. I could be wrong, but I think that's when people really started to buy cars. Anyways, all these other electronics started taking off later on in, I guess, the 60s, 70s. That's when you started to see things like fridges, microwaves, and all that stuff, right? So all of that contributed to global warming. And now you're telling us that we have to fix it. But we didn't even create these materials. We didn't even create any of this stuff. And the older generation, the generation that's responsible for this, a lot of them are in the 70s right now. So even though they're laughing, they're okay, because they get to enjoy their life right now, right? A lot of them are retired, they're on their pensions, they're living their best lives, while a lot of people who are in their young 20s and late 30s are trying to survive and they can't. That's why you'll see a lot of them on Instagram, TikTok, all of that. They're taking drugs, they're drinking, they're partying. What they're actually doing is they're masking a lot of depression, because a lot of them are really depressed because they hear stories of their parents talking about, oh, how back in the day at the age of 25, they were already married, they already had a job, they already had a house. A lot of people in 2020 can't do that. Like, think about it. The class of 2020 right now, who graduated during coronavirus, they can't even get jobs right now. So it's like, you'll see a lot of these, I call them millennials. They're like, I guess in their mid-30s. They're the ones that are still in the party stage. And you might be wondering, when will these people wake up? Like, when will these people grow up? And it's like, they're actually depressed out here. That's how they're coping. They have like $100,000 of debt. They can't buy a house because where they work is usually in the city, because that's where there are more jobs. So if they go to a small town, they can maybe fight for a job, but in a lot of small towns, there aren't a lot of jobs anyways. So it's like they're broke, they're in debt. Some of them are living with their parents. So they don't know what to do. They've already given up. So if you try to talk to them, if you try to tell them that their attitude stinks or anything like that, trust me, they're already dead. They don't care. They have nothing to lose. Because a lot of millennials, they're not even getting married, right? They're not even getting married. Some of them are having kids, but they're not really having kids like that either. So you have a mix of depression and also social awkwardness, because I'll admit, the whole dating scene for millennials is it's disgusting. Like, millennials don't know how to date. They don't have relationship skills. They think dating is you meeting somebody on Tinder or these online websites, and then you talk to them, and then you do what you do with them, and then you're together. That's their definition of dating. So they lack a lot of social, like, one-to-one skills, because they were born in the era where what you call it, what was that thing again? MSN Messenger, and Facebook Messenger and Instagram and TikTok. They were born in that era where instead of talking to people one-on-one, you talk to them through a screen. So for a lot of them, they don't really know how to put like reality away from the online world. So some of them are kind of messed up with that as well. Like you got, again, not to pick on OnlyFans, but you got some of the younger millennial women. They think that having a career is being on OnlyFans making money. That's what they think having a job is. Like I don't know. But also in terms of the workplace and in terms of how millennials deal with employment, I will say, you know how back in the day you would have people that had careers for like 20 and 30 years? A lot of millennials know that they're not going to have careers for 20 or 30 years, because if you even look at the way the world is going right now, a lot of these jobs, they're bringing in artificial intelligence. So a lot of the jobs that even existed like 5 years ago, 5 years from now, they might not exist. Like if you go to McDonald's, you see how they have kiosks. They don't really have cashiers like that anymore. Same thing if you go to Walmart, like you're kind of seeing some of these jobs going away, right? So a lot of millennials already know that some of these jobs aren't going to exist anyways. So they're not really pressed about staying at a job for 20, 30 years. They're not really pressed about impressing bosses. You know, they're not really worried about having a good career, having good rapport. They're kind of just worried about the right now, like how am I going to make it type of thing, because they already know that even more of these jobs are going to be outsourced. I don't know about you, but I contacted Best Buy recently, and when I was talking to the guy on the phone, there was a rooster crowing. Okay, a rooster was crowing, and he had a thick Indian accent. No offense to him, like I'm an immigrant as well. No offense to him, but he clearly wasn't in the country. He clearly was in India. So it's like, imagine some of these customer service jobs, entry-level customer service jobs that a lot of them went to school for, they're gone anyways. So they just, honestly, I'll put it this way. A lot of millennials honestly just have nothing to lose. They have nothing to lose. So when some of you guys try to interact with them or talk to them, they don't care because they've already felt betrayed by the government, again, by how some of their parents didn't raise them, how the online world raised them. So they really just don't care. Like there's no such thing as, let me try to advise you and all this kind of stuff. It doesn't exist. So yeah, that's the thing about millennials. Let's see what these comments look like. Let me just check the comments for 2 seconds. The baby boomers messed us up. They made it hard for, exactly. The baby boomers messed it up. Back in the day, you could get a house for like, in some areas, for like $100,000. Now you can't. Now you need a bigger down payment, right? And then with these 20, 30-year loans, who's trying to do that? Who's trying to do that? And then if you already have, again, the average student debt is $100,000. So you are already a risk. Okay, and then you have a stupid job that's gonna pay you $15 an hour depending on what sector you're working in. So it's like, what do you want us to do? You make fun of us, some of them. Some people make fun of millennials for still living with their parents or living with roommates. But have you honestly seen how hard it is to even get a basic house? It's not the 19 whatever anymore. It was really great that our grandparents were able to do that, but I mean, I guess the government doesn't care. They just care about whoever wants to buy those houses. I learned how to cook in my early teens. Yeah, a lot of people my age and a little bit younger and even older. See, that's why Uber Eats and all these things are popular, because people really honestly just don't know how to cook. And they think it's funny, like, oh, why do I need to know how to cook? They have all these prepackaged foods and all that kind of stuff. They think it's hilarious. They think you being rich is good enough. so that you don't need to learn how to cook. So yeah, they don't think it's an important skill, but it actually is. The baby millennials are not going to get a retired pension. Yeah, they're not. I kind of feel bad, but see, I feel like that's the reason why some of them aren't even, like, if you've noticed in the online community, a lot of them have been talking about how they're moving to Thailand, or they're moving to Asia, or they're moving to other countries. So a lot of them are even checked out. They don't even want to be in these Western countries anymore. They just want to take their little $10,000, $20,000 dip and go start somewhere else, somewhere fresh, because they're just frustrated with a lot of things that are going on over here. Yeah, they can't cook at all, but they pretend it's okay. Yeah, they pretend it's one thing I will say. One good thing about this, though, is a lot of them are becoming business owners. Like, I know if you guys have been on Instagram, you guys have seen a lot of women sell hair, eyelashes, clothes, all of these things. Yeah, a lot of them they're becoming business owners. But then with that, you also have the aspect of the other ones who pretend that they're business owners. So I know also on Instagram, some of you guys have seen a lot of these let's call them young adult women. They call themselves models, right? They call themselves Instagram models, but they buy the clothes from these companies in order to take pictures from them. So they think that they're models, but they're not. It's like the hard work that our parents and a lot of our grandparents were raised on, the discipline, the honesty, it's not there. So when people complain about millennials not doing this, millennials not doing that, it was never there in the first place. They never had to prove themselves, so they don't. Like the modeling industry back in the days, for instance, I know some of you guys probably watched America's Next Top Model. The modeling industry back in the days was you had to be pretty, like exceptionally gorgeous, and a scout would find you, contact you, and say, hey, I want you to be a model. Can you fly to Paris? Can you fly to Milan to model for so-and-so? But nowadays, these girls and these young ladies and even older ladies think that to become a model, all I gotta do is take pictures on Instagram and that's it. Like all I gotta do is buy clothes from this company in China, take thirst trap pictures on Instagram, and then I'm all of a sudden a model. They don't have skills. Like, and I feel like that's kind of something I actually forgot to mention. A lot of millennials don't have skills. And when I talk about skills, I mean actual skills such as they don't know how to sew. For the males or the men, they don't know carpentry work. They don't know electrician type of work. They don't know how to work on roofs. Like they don't know hand work. They only know how to do stuff online, which is not bad, but not everybody is meant to do things online, first and foremost. And secondly, they only think that you having a degree, I keep bringing up degree because it's something that's shoved down a lot of people's throats, but they think that having a degree means that you're an adult. It means that that's all you have to do in life. And they are sadly mistaken. They think that just because they went to college for 4 years, that makes them an amazing person, that they're special, that they deserve cookies, and they don't. They don't know how to do skills. They don't know how to do gardening. They don't know how to do anything. That's why whenever something goes wrong in their houses, they always have to call somebody else for help. And that part of how they were raised, I have to blame a lot of that on their parents and society as well. But that part of how they're raised is the reason why humanity keeps going down and down and down and down, because nobody wants to work hard for anything anymore. If we're talking about the Black community, which, you know, I love my people, y'all my people, but if we're talking about the Black community in particular, guys, there are too many young men and even older men that I've talked to that said that they want to become rappers or music producers. And I'm sitting there like, okay, fine. Music producer, I could kind of understand that because that is kind of a skill. But a rapper, is that what everybody's aspiring to do right now? Like, that's not special. Why don't you learn how to do electrical work, welding, something that's actually going to help you make money and not depend so much on, the government? But no, they don't want to do that. They don't want to take the work. They don't like doing outside work. They're a very, very, very lazy people. And I feel like that's one of the only things that our parents and our grandparents did that was right, that for whatever reason, we didn't adopt that culture, and it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. And again, with the whole millennial woman type of thing, one thing that I think is kind of upsetting is the fact that I've noticed a lot of mostly Black people who are parents now, they don't really raise their kids right. They're too lenient with their children. Like, I don't know what's going on, but especially in the Black community, I've noticed that Black parents don't really discipline their kids as much as they should. And they kind of fail to understand that, okay, if I'm a Black boy, if I'm a Black girl, right? If I act out, I'm not going to have the same privileges as someone else in a different race. And I think you know who I'm talking about, right? Like, I'm not going to have the same privileges. If I go out and I do something stupid, they're going to throw the book at me, right? But if someone else does that, the law is going to favor them over us. So I don't know why Black parents aren't more, they're not literally telling their kids the truth. Why they're not abusing, but I think more spanking, to be quite honest. Okay, maybe you don't like spanking or maybe you don't agree with it, but the type of way that these people are raising their kids is really concerning. Because you raise your kids like these, then they grow up, they have all these stinky attitudes, and they think that the law is going to protect them when it really isn't. So that's another huge problem that I've been noticing with how millennials were raised and how millennials are also turning around and raising their kids. And to me, that's actually kind of concerning, because I don't know who's under this false pretense that, I mean, if you're in a store, for instance, and you're a melanated person, melanated teenager, I should say, if you go around and you mess around, or if you're out there experiencing drugs, because a lot of them do drugs in college. A lot of the other people, if you know who I'm talking about, they do drugs, they do drinking, they do all that stuff in college too. But when we do it, we're the bad guys. So I don't know if the baby boomer generation or the generation after that failed to tell a lot of millennials that, but that whole acting up, doing all these things that they think is cute, and that they further incriminate themselves by posting all this partying and doing drugs on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram, or Twitter. I don't know who told them doing that is okay, but they're really ruining it for themselves. They're ruining their own reputations. And what else did I want to say? Actually, let me just check the comments real quick. Children need to be disciplined because too much Babylon. Yeah. Nobody knows how to go out there and get what they want. They think social media will make them famous. Yeah, a lot of them think that having, I don't know, 20, 30,000 followers is helpful. But if you have 20, 30,000 followers and you can't capitalize off of those 20, 30,000 followers, then there's really no point of you having those followers, to be honest. But they're not really business minded. They're more, about doing things for clout. If you guys noticed, I know you guys remember that guy. What was his name? What was his name? I think his name was Boonk Gang. I'm gonna put his name in the comments. But it was this kid, and he was acting out like he was basically doing pranks just to get famous off of Instagram. And then he actually went to jail for that. He went to jail for that. He served time, and doing all of that, he was actually homeless as well. So you could be Instagram famous and also be homeless. $15 an hour is nothing in California. 5-bedroom home around is but yeah, that's basically what I wanted to say about millennials. They don't really know how to cook. They play video games. They're not really interested in marriage, which I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. But I noticed a lot of them, they're not really interested in that kind of stuff. So I don't know how that's gonna play out, because then you kind of have, when they get older, you kind of have these 40, 50-year-olds that wanna start to try and work things out. But from what I've seen, I don't think I guess you could try to get married at 40. But in terms of having kids, I don't know how that affects people. But yeah, that's what I want to say about millennials. But yeah, if anyone has anything to add, you can definitely jump into the conversation. I think she'll put the link in the comment section. If you guys have any questions also about millennials, you guys let me know. If there's anything that I missed, also let me know. I think I got it all down though, because yeah, millennials are unruly. If you're looking at Nigeria, for instance, what's happening in Nigeria right now, people are standing up for their rights. The previous generation, they said, we're gonna run away from our problems. So I think in terms of how this is gonna affect a lot of governments, it's actually gonna be a bad thing, because you know how you guys see all these riots and protests and all that stuff happening? It's only gonna get worse, because as I mentioned before, a lot of millennials, their mindset is that they have nothing to lose. So they don't care. They don't care. They will go out and protest. They will go out and agitate police officers. They will go out and fight for their rights. So if these governments think that they can suppress millennials or tell them what to do or hide certain things from them, it's not going to happen. In fact, I do predict that there are going to be way more protests around the whole world, and you're going to see a lot more millennials out there on the front lines fighting for their rights and fighting for certain things that other generations kind of just let go. Yeah, I think that's it. Let me check the comments. Morning. Can I take a jacket to see? Yeah, they definitely are scared. They definitely aren't. Like, they're not being paid enough. They're not valued enough. And to be honest, a lot of them are entitled. So they don't also have patience. So back in the day, whereas some people would think of certain things before doing it, a lot of them really don't have that in their heads. So they just go ahead and do what they feel like doing it. think I addressed all of the comments. You're muted.
Oh yes, I know. I was just wanting to announce, please, the link is dropped, you all. I think this is a great conversation. Let's get up here and let's weigh in. Now, I am a Generation Xer, so I think next week I'm being compelled to do the problem with Generation X. Um, uh, you know, it takes such accountability and real to just like unpack this. Uh, where do you think? Because there's a real discussion here being had, sis, in regards to how can so much be lost in one generation, right? How can so much be lost in one generation? Why do you think this is really kind of falling on? So you're laughing, so you already know. How has this fallen so heavily on the millennials? Yeah, that's my question. I'm just going to set that right there. And we do have someone else who's coming up to the panel, and I'm just going to set that right there and let you handle that. And then we're going to add Sir Senior is jumping up to the panel.
Wait, can you rephrase your question? What exactly did you mean? Like, how did so much go wrong in one generation?
Yeah, right. Because it seems like, okay, between the baby boomers and the Generation Xers, I think most people would agree that was kind of like a slope. Like it was like a small decline. There was like, there's just kind of where we started to say lost in translation between the Generation Xers and the baby boomers. But between the baby boomers and the millennials, it's like, what planet? How did this happen? Like, what's going on? And I don't know where that has stemmed from. Is it because of the fact that so many millennials were kind of brought up with one parent households, or like how was so much lost in such a really a brief period of time? I'm literally the year before millennials, so I'm a 1978, and millennials started literally the next year. So, but when I talk to someone maybe three years younger than me, it's like they're still in their teens. Some of them are still in their teens.
Oh,
I'm a whole grown girl. But I know, like you said, I know plenty of men are mid and women with just priorities totally off.
yeah.
Men in their 30s, early 40s, totally kind of remiss. And I'm just wondering, like, what's the stem of it? Because we know the symptoms of it, but what's the stem of it? So I'm going to set that right there. Oh, peace. Welcome, Brother Bakari. Welcome.
Yeah, well, I definitely think that one word to describe millennials is that's against my rights. That's a favorite thing that they say. They're always trying to go against what someone else is saying. And I don't know. I don't think it's just the parents. I know I was a very difficult on the parents, but it's also the fact that society is changing a lot at this time. So there really is no right or wrong. It's just kind of like an anything goes. And if you question it, you're a hater. So a lot of millennials have internalized that. Like if you tell a millennial woman that being a thought, you can do that. Yes, you're liberating yourself, but it actually comes with a lot of consequences. Oh, you're being a hater. Okay, the men can do it, so why can't I do it either? And then if you talk to a millennial man, and you tell them, you know what, man, you gotta step it up because you're a man. You're not a lady. Then they get mad and they're like, oh, well, why do I have to step it up? Blah, 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 blah. And that might have to do something. I don't know. But go ahead, sir.
Salute to you. Salute to Courtney, and salute to everybody who's in the chat. I kind of feeling what you're saying. I would say that it's a big thing of their children. Like, that's the problem, is there's a lot of grown-ups and not adults. There's a lot of, grown females and grown men, and not really adults. There's not a lot of, well, I would say a lot of grown males and a lot of grown females versus women and men. And their focus is, well, somebody else needs to do something to fix things for me, or I don't want to do it because they're not doing it. They don't think of self-accountability, and they don't think of working as a team. They just want to be, what's that, how they say that back on White Man Can't Jump? It's like they want to look good and lose instead of look bad and win. So it's that type of thing. Like, if you ask a, like you were saying earlier, if you ask a woman like, oh, can you cook? Either she's going to say, well, proudly, I can't cook at all. Or she'll say she can cook, and then you be like, well, what's your favorite meal? She'll be like, mac and cheese. And then her mac and cheese be like, oh, like Kraft mac and cheese. You be like, wait a minute. Or like they don't know how to boil water, like, and like then you can't tell them nothing. And then the same thing with guys, like you can't tell them like, oh, well, you should be able to change your own oil, at least know how it's done. You should know how to change a tire, and you should know how to, put a simple, kit that you get from somewhere together. You should be able to build this bookshelf. I mean, it's just a couple screws. You should know how to use a simple screwdriver. Like, they're like, oh no, I don't need to know how to do that. I can pay somebody to do that. And then that's when they'll throw their pocket around. It's like, oh, well, I got money. I can pay somebody to cook for me. Well, okay, I guess. So I think that's a big thing of it, is they think money is most important, but if you don't know what to do with the money, it still doesn't matter. I can hand you $1 million, but you don't know how to invest or build a company or run a company or anything like that. You'll be broke in a couple years, if not earlier.
Did you get my question? I think my mic was muted.
Oh no, I didn't get your question. I was typing that in the chat and I can't hear you.
Oh, okay. So I was like, so how do you think this will relate to how they raise their kids? I'm actually really scared that some of them already have kids and they're continuing to have children, because as you and I have mentioned previously, they don't really have any tangible skills. A lot of them don't. So what are they passing down to their children?
Trash. They're passing trash to them. That's what they're doing. They're passing trash to these kids. These kids don't know how to do nothing but get tatted up and twerk. And they don't even be doing that right. They be twerking off beat. I'm like, how you gonna dance? All you're doing is shaking your butt. How you gonna shake your butt off beat? That's it. That's it.
But okay. But do you guys have an issue with them twerking? Or okay, what I don't get is, you guys have an issue with them twerking period, or is it because they're doing it online?
I mean, let's be real. You're asking, do we as in what? Like we as men or people
Yeah,
my age or
you as men.
okay, so men love to see a woman move at any point. We love to see her standing still. We love to see her laying down, standing up, sitting up. We just love to see her. We may not want to hear her all the time, but we love to see her. So if she's shaking it, we want to see that. I mean, we want to see that, but we don't want to see everything. Leave something to the imagination. Like that makes us get lustful, but after that, you're like, okay, well, get off me, ho. Like really, that's really what it be. So you don't want her to be, you want her to be provocative without being whorish. And that's the thing is like they don't know the difference. They don't know how to be attractive without being slutty.
Okay, yeah, I get what you're saying. I think that's what's drawing the line, because a lot of women would be like, okay, well, what's wrong with me? Like Amber Rose model, like, what's wrong with me showing everything? I should
Because
be allowed to do that because it's my right.
yeah, it's your right to be naked, to be a naked hoe. Okay, you want to be a naked hoe, that's your right. Have your slut walk. But don't get mad at me when I treat you like a hoe. You can't act like a hoe and then expect me to treat you like a housewife. And just because you get married don't make you a wife. I mean, you can throw a ring at anybody.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm a little blunt. You know what I'm saying? I'll tone back a little bit. I'll tone back a little bit.
Hi, other person. What's your name?
Diamond Princess.
Hi, Diamond Princess. What's going on? Thank you for being in the comment section, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I just had to agree with you on that because a lot of baby boomers and adding on Gen Xers have failed our generation.
Yeah, they have.
They're like back in the 90s, it was easy to get a house. And houses were much cheaper back then. Houses were probably like, how can I say it? Like almost like over like 3,000 or and these are just 5-bedroom houses, like over $3,000, $4,000. Nowadays, because I live in the Sunshine State, a 5-bedroom house range from $2,000 to $1 million, depending on where you're at. And I was like, this is freaking ridiculous because the minimum wage in California is $15 an hour. That a 15 to get those houses, you cannot work a 15-hour wage because a 15-hour wage, I don't care if if you live in an apartment, it's not going to cover your rent. It's not going to pay your mortgage. It's not going to cover your utility bills. That's that all that stuff, like all your paycheck is going to be gone because you're doing all this stuff, and not only that, you're near homeless. So basically, in Cali, it's kind of tough out here, and it still is during the pandemic. People are, a lot of people are moving out of California because they want better, you know, living situations, better jobs. But at the same time, you have people moving in here as well. So you kind of like, have people going back and forth. But I can tell you, when baby boomers, when it comes to raising, they did not do a good job. A lot of us, when I saw during my teens, a lot of kids were like, coming home late at night, doing what they want to do, drinking, smoking weed, you name it, getting into trouble, getting killed, and getting girls getting pregnant, you name it. It's like a lot of parenting has failed, not just in the Black community, but in other communities as well. We just can't, look at the Black community and say that community is the only one that's failing. No, there's a lot of communities
Oh no,
that are having
absolutely
the
not.
same issues. So the generation, I call this like a generational curse, because it's going to take a while, for us to break it, because you have a lot of men and women not taking responsibilities for their actions and being careless with themselves. Let's say, for instance, women, when it comes to men, we do not choose the proper man that is husband material. We will sit there and get pregnant by men, and then when the man leaves, you become a single mother, and the cycle continues because you do not know how to break that cycle. The same thing with men. They want to pour their seed into women and then dipped on them when they find out they're pregnant, and get the other girl pregnant and do the same thing. It's like something has to break this cycle. And unfortunately, it's going to have to be us to break this cycle and teach our kids how to value themselves and not use their body as, as breeding. There's more to that than just having sex. You got to have partnership. You got to, it's like a community thing. Do you get what I'm saying?
Kind of.
It's like we have to take, it's something that, our parents did not teach us how to protect ourselves when it comes to sex. It's like they dropped the ball on that area.
Yeah, I don't know what they were on. I don't know what they were. I don't know whether they were working too much or somewhat.
And that's why you have all these. That's why you. That's why you have most of these boys going into gangs, because they don't have a father figure in their lives. Their dads wasn't in their life, so what boys do, they look for a father figure outside the home, and it's the wrong father figure that they're looking up to, because they're looking up to men that have criminal records. And once they look up to these men, they start getting into crime themselves. And I guess with the baby boomer generation, they did not tell, they probably did not care, whether or not, if what happened to their kids. That's how I feel on that one.
So the baby boomer generation was a little more selfish. They weren't get on, and then by doing
in my opinion, yes.
Yeah, I agree, because there's so
In
many
my opinion, yes.
who inherited a lot of debt, not wealth for sure. And then they want us to start from zero. But like as Diamond Princess said, how do you start from zero if you were never taught how? So then you have some Black people right now in America that are trying to, and the West, not just America, that are trying to figure it out right now at the age of because you can't figure that out in your 20s. It's very difficult to. It usually takes mid-30s for you to kind of figure that out. But then at that point, you also have other responsibilities for the most part. So it's really horrible, to be honest. And that's the thing, trust me, I don't like millennials either. They get me really upset. I get annoyed at how entitled they are and the way that they talk. But they weren't just monsters that came out of nowhere. They were monsters that were created. And at this point, they're monsters, again, as me and Sir said, they're monsters that are having children, and they're monsters that inherited debt, bad financial practices, all these things. How are they actually going to change? I don't think that they can change, to be quite honest. I think that the damage was done so far ahead that there's no way to repair it. And I know that's kind of not what a lot of people want to hear, but most of the millennials are doomed for sure.
Well, I think like every person has a chance to change, but for a person to honestly change, it takes them wanting to change, and it takes something drastic. Like you can't do something, you can't stop any habit, overnight unless you do a drastic change. Like people are like, well, we're not perfect. Well, if you don't try to be perfect, you'll never be perfect, and you'll probably won't be better than what you are. Because even if you change a little bit, you'll dramatically go back or gradually go back. So, and the biggest thing is first you got to see something wrong with you. Most people don't want to admit that they're wrong. They don't want to admit there's something wrong with what they're doing because usually their self-esteem is false. Their pride is false. So any little hit to their little ego, they fall all apart. I mean, I'm a little different because like I've always been short and black. You know what I'm saying? So it's only so many black jokes you could come up with that I ain't already heard. So you can't really get me. Like I'm good. I've always been like the shortest person. Like shoot, my youngest is about my height. so you really can't. I mean, you can't really hurt me with something like that. So everything that I've been able to learn how to do, I always strive to be the best that I could be at that. So I don't know, my mind state is a little different, but if you can't take constructive criticism, then
But
you can never be better.
and not to cut you off, but that's the thing. A lot of them don't like taking constructive criticism. They take it as an attack or as
Yeah,
you making.
you're right. As you not to disrespect Carissa Shields, but as the Carissa Shields saying, oh, they just hating. Like, no, your jab is weak. You need to get stronger. Like, I don't know. I'm big into boxing, so I use a boxing analogy. But that's how she is. If you don't say she's the best thing since sliced bread, you know, she be like, oh, well, you're just hating. No, you just not that good. You're good, but you could be better.
Well, let me ask you guys a question though. I don't. It doesn't matter what your age is. Anybody can answer this question. But do you guys think that, kind of related to this, do you guys think that the schools are failing them, like especially in those formative years in high school? Do you guys think that the type of stuff that they learn in school, that it doesn't make the situation any better?
No, no. I say that the schools are doing what they are designed to do.
In my opinion, hold on a
Um,
second. I believe that the schools are designed to make us fail. It was done on purpose, but our parents are the biggest failures than the school systems because they were the ones that supposed to teach us who we are and educate us. But they fail, in that realm, knowing that the school system is not going to teach. If you look around you, what does mostly the school system is teaching our kids? European history. They're not really diverse in telling other people's history and their stories. And that kind of messes our kids' self-esteem up because they want to be represented in history. They want to look up to somebody that looks like them. And when they don't see that, they like, oh, we haven't done anything in this country. We came from nothing and we still ain't nothing. We got to let our kids know that they did come from something, because if they did not come from anything, they would not be here. and we would not be here. So I would say yes, the educational system was designed to make was designed to fail mostly Black people. It wasn't because, to be honest with you, they do not want to see Black people rise to their best ability. They want to keep, minorities down and in poverty so they can stay up on top.
Sir, did you want to respond to that before I respond to that?
Yeah, pretty much like I was saying, was that it's based and it's designed to do what it's doing. It's based to make money. And the government makes more money with people making less money. If everybody they need you to make a certain amount because you won't be able to pay, for anything if you're that broke. But if you make too much money and you know how to do too much stuff, then it takes away from the government. If everybody start growing their own food, or at least in their local area, then the grocery stores go down. They can't tax the truckers, they can't tax the companies, they can't tax you for buying it, they can't tax the farmer for selling it to them. So taxes is going to drop down dramatically. So it's designed to make the rich richer, but also the government officials, money. So you have to understand, when they were doing factory jobs were good and booming because they didn't have the digital intelligence. They didn't have the machinery that worked on its own. We had to physically move the machines. So they needed people to do it. Now they got robots to do it. Like, technically, they really don't need you to wring out your own food. So now that the more technology grows, the less they need physical manual labor. So I want you to learn stuff.
Because as Diamond Princess said, I actually agree a lot with what she said, because I mean, if you ask me what I learned in high school, Shakespeare, that's what I learned in high school. Some mathematics, but in terms of things that are actually important, I don't really recall. And I mean, when we're getting to an age where technology matters more, that's not really helping with training them to have the skills that they need in order to succeed and excel. So again, like, I'm not an education minister. I'm not saying let's scrap the whole thing, but the education system is definitely behind. In a lot of areas, it's underfunded, and that's not a priority. The priority is instead, let's hire people from India who could be your customer service agent when someone from California probably needs that job. What's going to happen? And yeah, and then they have kids, right? But then they don't have a good job. And anyways, hi, Donnie.
Peace, family. How y'all doing? Can you hear me? I'm not muted.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to say, it's several problems that is the problem with the millennial generation. And we all are products of our environment, which is the problem. So we've been programmed by TV, by music. They coming out the end of that. I know, at least in the U.S., they coming out the end of that crack era. So you're dealing with a lot of crack babies out here and grandbabies out here that have mental health issues and issues that are not their fault. And that also leads into that prison era with a lot of these parents and homes was broken up. So you got a lot of these kids, the kids and grandchildren of that whole era. So they dealing with stuff, issues with that. And they also dealing with that No Child Left Behind Act, which I know that myself from having kids, if you have any issue in school, any learning issues, or what they perceive to be a learning issue, that they don't even try to help you. They push you along to the next grade. I mean, one of my kids, they said that to him. You know, we don't have time to teach him, you know, where he's behind at, but we still gonna pass him to the next grade. So I know that that's real. So that's the issue. It's not them. And I also got one of them too. I got a son that want to be a rapper. It irritates me to no end. I do not understand why he does, but you know, that's his passion. Well, that's what he do in his spare time. That's on him. I don't have a problem with that. You know, as long as you taking care of yourself and your family, you know, it's not my issue. But I think it's getting better. Last thing I'm gonna say before I let you go, it's getting better because I've noticed a lot of more millennials that are getting married and are starting families. So it is getting better. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I do have to agree with you on that. Even though, I mean, it's easy and it's fun to give them a bad rep because I guess they're the most vocal about certain things that other generations don't really talk about. But yeah, I do notice that some of them are actually not as bad and it is getting better. I have noticed that as well. I've noticed that some of them do see the wrongs that they do and they try to catch it. I guess it's not the millennials that are on social media, but the ones in actual real life, the ones that are actually making moves. I have noticed that.
Yeah. The other thing too is they're dealing with too that nobody ever talks about is the lead in the water. If you ever do a study on what the symptoms are of lead poisoning, a lot of these kids in these inner cities and older cities are struggling where they calling them learning disabled, suffering from lead poisoning. It causes them to be overly aggressive, learning disabilities and stuff like that. But I've seen a few studies on it, but they never really talk about it because all these major cities still got lead pipes in the ground. So after Flint, Michigan, they've been on all the cities have been on a construction thing trying to get these pipes out the ground for the next city to get called out and sued. But a lot of them, Baltimore, I know them in the DMV, Baltimore got lead pipes, DC got lead pipes, and everywhere. And after that, I noticed construction everywhere. They pulling the pipes out the ground. So especially if you're in a housing project or somewhere in the older part, you definitely dealing with lead poisoning. So I just want to throw that out.
It's a lot of different things. It's not just, I would say that like lead poisoning is very important. Fluoride poisoning is another one that people don't talk about. Because the quote unquote regime or plan was to get us to think that fluoride was good for us. What does fluoride do that multiple other chemicals or herbs can't, do as well? Fluoride breaks down, it makes it makes your bones white. But why you need your bones white? How does that help you? Like, I don't understand. But it does break your brain down. You know what I'm saying? It breaks your brain down and make you more susceptible to their plans and indoctrination, and you can't think straight and you can't have creative thought and all these things, which leads you to be a better person, that leads you to create, it leads you to be a leader. And we think that, oh well, it's okay, but fluoride's not good for you, lead's not good for you. The main thing, how do you find out what's not good for you? Look at what's the main ingredients in almost everything they sell to you. A bunch of caffeine, a bunch of sugar, a bunch of random weird
Oh no. Now you took my mind there.
you know what I'm saying? It's
No,
like,
but keep going. Like, I like how you brought that up because I never really thought about that.
I agree.
Why they put all that stuff in our food, because you're right, this is relatively new.
and that's the thing, is like when you look at those things, what do they promote to you is rarely what's good for you. they're like, oh, well, drink more water, but here's a new soda that's 50 cents and the water costs $2. Which one you gonna drink? like so I can get 4 sodas, or I can get, this 15, and now the bottles of water aren't even 20 ounces. They're 16 ounces. But I can get this soda that's 32 ounces for 50 cents. Which one am I going to get? And it tastes like happiness. That's how they sell it. It tastes like happiness.
It probably takes 3 bottles of water to make that 1 bottle of soda too.
Exactly. But that's the stuff like we don't understand and we don't look at. The only vegetables they want us to eat are genetically modified, like broccoli and cauliflower.
Yeah.
I think she's going in and out.
Speaking of health, the Black community has a big we need to consider looking into.
She breaking up.
Okay, anyways. Okay. Can you hear me? Can anybody hear me?
Yeah,
We can
now.
hear you now.
Okay. So what I was saying is that we need to look in health issues, because we are dying from different types of diseases like diabetes, you name it, because we're not eating the right foods that we need to eat in order for us to become more healthy. A lot of Black people are eating a lot of soul food, which I love soul food. I'm not going to deny that, but that's not really healthy for you, depending on how you cook it. I see you laughing. But like a lot of fried foods, we eat a lot of fried foods. It doesn't matter if it's like chicken, pork. Pork is really not good for you. Twinkies, candy, we're frying it all. We're doing it all. Okay. So as a lot of Black people, we need to do better when it comes to our health. Like, for example, we need to eat the right fruits and vegetables, such as bananas, strawberries, blueberries, and vegetables like greens, if you cook them right, carrots, corn. We need to encourage more healthy foods in our community. We need to get rid of soda machines in our schools. They're not really good for us. And our food in the school, they serve better food because they're serving away food. Like when I was going to school, they were serving pizza that comes out of a bag. It's like, what the hell is this? This looks like prison food. Like they're just throwing prison food to these kids. So the schools need to step it up too, because it really, not really, as they claim to be. It's not their kids are not getting the nutrition that parents we need to come up with in order for us to have a healthy, long living lifestyle. Because too many Black people have heart attacks and strokes, being stressed out too much. It's beginning to be too much, and we need to, eliminate these problems out of our lives so that we can, live longer. Because diabetes is a big problem in the Black community, a very, very big problem. So we just need to have more solutions on how we can get out there and exercise, get out the house. Because I know everybody's in quarantine. That doesn't stop you from, just walking down the street, at least twice a day. to get you like a healthy exercise. Because not too long ago, I started switching up my eating habits. At least I'm trying to. It's not easy. I know it's not easy because this is something that you grow up eating, but it's a step forward. So once you start eating something different, like more fruits, more vegetables, more lean stuff, it will get it can work. We can, do better for our body.
I agree. She broke up again. Yeah, I think she froze for real. Yeah, I think when she was saying that too, that carry out, a lot of young people eat from the carry out now, and that's the worst. That's the worst. And I noticed that. So I mean, we got getting attacked on every level.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, you broke up for a minute.
I thought of it's one thing like you ever remember like when you was in school
On my
how
internet.
they would just give us chocolate
Ugh.
milk with everything?
Yeah.
It's like, come on now, like who can get any of us as adults? You ever gonna go home and make some spaghetti and then chug some chocolate milk behind it?
Absolutely not. That's freaking disgusting.
Hey,
Ew.
I just looked up this water.
Yes, yes.
I just looked up this water fact. It takes like 1,000 gallons of water to make 1 gallon of milk.
Apples and orange juice for breakfast.
Don't answer that question. I don't want to know what's in chocolate milk.
It's probably not chocolate.
Yeah, that's definitely not chocolate.
But we're not supposed to be drinking milk anyways because it comes from the cow. Like not from that. So like we're not, because the thing that comes from cow, like the blood, that we're not supposed to be drinking cow's milk. It's really killing us. So the best alternatives for for us to drink is like soy milk or almond milk. That's like the healthiest thing that you can substitute from cow.
Wait, we can't. Don't do that. Don't do that. Soy is bad for us. It's actually
What? What I'm saying?
radioactive. So too much soy is not good for us. And when have you ever seen milk come from an almond? Y'all be doing too much. Just like oat milk, talking about oat milk. Oats don't have milk. That's the slime from the top. Y'all be doing
actually,
to be drinking cow's milk. Sir.
yeah, I'm actually a
So
former life. Yeah, too much soy is definitely bad. Miss Hurricane is correct. And welcome to the panel. We have Brother Neo. Welcome to the panel, brother.
Hey everybody, glad to be back from my little fast and whatnot. Hope I didn't make anybody miss me or anything like that. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Good.
Good to be back with you guys for a second. I just want to touch on a few things. You guys were chopping it up pretty
Mr.
good.
Millennial himself. Mr. Millennial himself. Welcome, Brother Neo. Yes, this has been a great conversation led by African Millennial. And you all please visit her channel. My mic on my laptop is not lit, and watch her latest video regarding Black women and Black men relationships and whether Black women are too hard on Black men. Just really, really great perspective, especially coming from a millennial. So I want to thank you for that. And welcome to the chat, Apple, California. Remember, I do not have a Cash App, but thank you. But please, and I don't have PayPal either. It is Zelle. But thank you for thank you for plugging me. Please support me. You can email me if you would like my Zelle account, or if you would like to invest in the channel. We do have a special Cash App set up for that. So thank you. All right, Brother Neo, if you want to go ahead and move forward with your points, the floor is yours. Spotlight on you.
Well, no pressure, no pressure. Thanks, everybody. Hey, just a few things. I've been out here, you know me, I'm a truck driver. I'm out here on this road. But with all the free time that I have, I get a chance to go and study a few things and share a few things as I come across them. I think one thing that I can go back to is the debate over whether or not we should include some of these alternative products as supplements to our diets. Take, for example, milk. We know that for a long time, we've already known that milk has been both a blessing and a curse on us. We've been using it, supplementing our mother's milk for our growth and everything. But we all know that essentially milk is a hormone, delivers messages. And in order to change that, you have to filter it quite a bit through a process called homogenation. Homogenation, basically, you're pretty much bleaching it, right? So if we're wondering why it is that our children and ourselves are having these lung issues and mucus issues, is because we're literally causing it by drinking so much of milk. Our diet, our dairy products, all go through the same process, and essentially we're kind of giving ourselves asthma by doing this. Now the alternative is, maybe almond milk. I like almond milk myself. However, again, there's still that question of soy. Well, a lot of your products that you use outside of food are made up of a certain type of oil. That oil is plant-based. That oil is called soy. Soy is essentially plastic when you're breaking it down. I mean, it's the same product. So yes, it's quote unquote edible and everything, but soy is the same basic ingredients for being able to come up with the oil that makes your plastic products, and that's all the way down to latex, right? But we're using it as a supplement. Not very good. Not very good. I mean, I'm guilty of it too. I drink soy, not soy milk, but almond milk, cashew milk, just to get, away from the milk. I've cut that down completely. Hell, I don't even put it in. I don't even put creamer in my coffee. But, just a few of those little things changing in your diet, or at least the quantity, you should definitely see some differences with your energy, how you feel. Literally, your stomach will thank you for changing the biochemistry of what you're taking into it. Take like these probiotics, things of that nature. Trying to figure out which plants have these probiotics that you can add, which combinations of fruits and vegetables will cultivate the good biosphere in your gut in order to make you feel good, feel better, have that sharper energy, have your mind right. Take here's a good combination that I like is apple cider vinegar. right? And mixing that into your turmeric tea, right? If you're having some issues with mucus and things in your lungs, or you're having sinus issues, this combination is like a miracle almost, where it literally clears that up from inside, starting from the stomach and working its way up. You know, I mean, I use it all the time. I would rely on that, especially for being out here dealing with the different seasons that these different states go through. Texas has had a couple of storms go through it. Uh, that affected me. I mean, then you get on the other side, dust blowing all through the place. My allergies were killing me, right? But as soon as I start fixing what it is that I'm taking in as far as food supplements and everything, that's when I started noticing a change in how my body responds to those things that used to be like hindrances. Having allergic reactions to oranges is kind of weird, especially if you only develop them in your 20s. It's not okay. All right, I'm going on a rant here. Somebody stop me. But I noticed that in the Dole products, your oranges, your pineapples, and things of that nature, you try to buy organic and everything, but you're still buying it from the same companies that practice these GMO growing processes, right? And they say they're using natural things like, I don't know, what's a good chemical? Ethylene. Ethylene is a product, or is a byproduct of certain fruits and vegetables decaying. They put out a gas, and it causes them to, like bananas, they turn brown because of it. But if you spray ethylene on pineapples, well, pineapples don't produce ethylene. You're causing something to ripen early, or die or decay early, against its own natural defenses. I mean, that's where you're getting these GMO things. This is what GMO is in your organics. It's technically organic, but at the same time, it's not something that happens naturally in nature. So when you get like an allergic reaction to pineapples and oranges, which are naturally vitamin C rich, it's mainly because other things are being added into it in order to control its growth. This is what Monsanto is known for doing, but not just Monsanto and like I said, Dole, Sunny D, what is that Green Giant, the Jolly Green Giant, whatever. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. All of these companies are producing these products that are supposed to be organic, that are taking natural occurring things and adding them to places that they don't belong, and we're having an effect. We're
Like when
getting
they
a
add
reaction.
fish to the tomatoes.
Yes, sir. Yeah, now you see exactly. Right?
To make it more water soluble.
Exactly. The same reason why you would feed coral to chickens in order to fatten them up. Why the hell would a chicken be eating coral?
Yep.
But they grind up coral and feed it to chickens. Tyson is known for doing this. And then once they do that, once it's already processed and everything, they pump the chicken full of
saltwater
nitrogen. Nitrogen. Yeah, nitrogen.
Mm-hmm.
They pump them full of nitrogen in order to sustain that red color that we're so accustomed to seeing in the blood of these products that we're buying. Your meat's not red because it's blood. That's carbon. That's the same color, or nitrogen. That's the same color as nitrogen. It's the same thing that's found in your blood, but it's not there once you die.
Yeah, that or CO2 gas.
That too. CO2, nitrogen. Well, I mean, once you like grasp that basic idea of what these chemicals are and where they're found and what these minerals are and why, certain people use certain crystals and all that stuff, you realize that the crystals and the minerals are the same thing, and that all of those things are found inside the body. Take, uh, for example, what does anybody in here know what vitamin C is exactly? Did anybody ever tell you what vitamin C is? What
No,
does the C stand for, at least?
I have no idea.
No idea, right? But we know it's good for us. We know that if you add it to like pain medicine, it could pretty much makes it inert and it doesn't work anymore. But that C stands for carbon.
Wow.
Same thing that your body is made of. Same thing that gives you that skin tone that we love so much, right? Which is fed by the sun is carbon, right? But
I
then you
thought
go and
from the
ask
sun
yourself,
was vitamin D.
vitamin D.
Vitamin
Uh,
D activates vitamin C
I
inside your
thought
body.
But vitamin D isn't a vitamin either. Vitamin D is a hormone.
It that's how it activates the vitamin C in your body
See,
through activating the hormones. That's why you get sunlight, and it's like whenever you eat things rich in vitamin C, they are always in places that has a lot of sunlight or direct sunlight because they work hand in hand. That's how you activate it, is with the sunlight.
Exactly. So technically, we produce it in our bodies naturally, but we can take it in as a supplement through oranges, tangerines, citrines, lemons, things of that nature. I like limes and everything, but also turmeric is a good source for vitamin C as well. Easily grounded up, put into your teas and stuff like that. But not just that, but like basically your the hormone that you're taking in that you're calling vitamin D is a hormone, and it doesn't do anything. Your body can't digest that. It doesn't digest it at all, not even a little bit. What it does is it causes your body to strip away the calcium in your own body. This is why your bones get weak. This is why they keep telling you, "Hey, fluoride is good for you." Sir Senior is just saying, calcium and fluoride are like mortal enemies. It strips it from your body. That's why it produces it more. It's your own body's calcium that is feeding. It's not You're not adding anything to it when you're drinking it. You can drink as much milk as you want. You're not producing that. You are melanated people. Your vitamin C and vitamin D come from the sun. That's how that works. That's how your body is made. You can get it from the plant life, but you can't get it from the animal life. The animal life still gets it from the plants. The plants are being digested in their
What do you
body, and
think
you're trying
about
to take that from. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
what do you think about dietary I'm sorry to interrupt, but what do you think about dietary supplements?
Depends on which ones you're talking about, like the low budget commercial ones or ones that you kind of get from your Whole Food stores and stuff.
It doesn't matter, I just like to know the difference because they said that's like a supplement when you don't get, your full like vitamin C's from like your foods or from your drinks that you drink, like,
But technically, it's in the name. It's in the name, really. I mean, it's a supplement. You're substituting something for something else, right? It's not meant to be the full course, just like what you just said right now. I mean, it's not meant to be um, a full amount of something else. It's an additive. It's supplemental. It's uh, just kind of like if you don't have the one thing, you need to go and get something else to add to it to make it complete. right? So it's in the word. My opinion is the supplements should be treated as that, not just like it's a substitute, like a meal replacement. You're trying to replace a whole meal with a small supplement. Well, it all depends. Are you trying to fast? Are you fasting at all? Are you
No, no,
correcting
no,
any
no,
of
no.
those things?
I'm taking Woman's One a day, so I'm just using those pill supplements to just um add in the missing vitamins that I miss on like a daily basis.
So
Well,
some of
it's
those
not a
things,
bad thing. Oh,
it
go
would be
ahead, sir.
better if you took like a superfood smoothie, like those. That would be
No, no, no,
better
no,
for
no, no,
you.
no. That's not what I'm talking about. I am eating foods, but I'm taking that just to get the vitamins that are missing in my
That's
foods.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And so, like, if you took a superfood smoothie, it would give you those vitamins that you're missing. Like, it's just a little powdered drink. You mix it with some water or whatever, and drink it, one time a day, and that will give it to you in a more natural way versus you taking it in a pill um form, because some of those things have a lot of additives in them. So you're not just adding whatever nutrients, you're also adding the additives. It's like drinking lemonade. Lemonade is good for you because it's lemon and it's water, but that sugar is going to kind of offset some of the stuff that you're trying to fight off.
Right. I mean, now one more thing you can take into consideration. What is it? Now, this is going to sound kind of weird, but are you looking at your bowel movements at all? I mean, because you can learn a lot by what it is that is actually exiting your body. Is your body digesting these products? You're putting the
Yeah, pretty
supplement
much.
into your body, but uh, I mean, you really got to know that these supplements are hard on the body. They're hard on the stomach lining. The stomach lining is not meant to take that in outside of its natural form necessarily, unless it's broke down extremely small. If it's broke down extremely small already, like in a capsule, and not in like a pill or maybe a gel, and not one of those hard tablets, then your body could have a better chance at breaking it down. But if it's in like a hard tablet form, then it struggles to break that down and get anything useful out of it before it's released from the body. So you can get like a supplement and everything and spend a whole bunch of money on it, but if your body's not digesting it, then you're really kind of, wasting your time and money and your body's effort.
No, my body's doing fine with the pill, so I'm not having any problems.
What type of pill, if you don't mind me asking?
It's on Woman's One a day.
I mean, is it a gel? Is it a liquid capsule? Is it what type of tablet are you taking?
It's like those pills. It's not gel or anything. It's like one of those like solid pills.
Right. So that's what I'm talking about here. I mean, me, I used to be a fitness trainer. Um,
Hmm.
took a little time doing that, and I used to try to build up my body using testosterone and creatine and things of that nature. But I got tired of dealing with mixing the powders and the shakes and all that stuff, and I
Hmm.
moved into the tablets. But then I realized that my body was not breaking the tablets down to be effective. Right. I had to do something further. Right. So because these tablets are in a concentrated form, I would like literally break those down. Um, and my little mason thing here, and I would add that to whatever meal I was eating, right? Because I found out that my body was just literally letting it pass through without actually digesting any of the useful testosterone or creatine to help me develop my body, right? Um, that's what I'm sharing with you, is that you really got to look into whether or not your body is actually breaking these tablets down, or is your body already producing those things that you're looking to supplement with this tablet. You'd be
Well, this
surprised.
tablet, well, it's doing good for my hair. My hair is, a little, it's healthy. I can see my skin is looking clearer.
Are
So
you
pretty
drinking a
much,
lot of water with those tablets and
yes,
everything?
I am. Yes, I
All right.
am.
So now there's why that's why I bring it up, because chances are it's just the water that you're adding to your diet and not the tablet,
Mhm.
right? I mean, not saying that
Mhm.
you're not, I don't want you thinking I'm just saying you're wasting your money, because chances are they're just breaking it down. But if you haven't looked into it at all, then chances are you don't know if this tablet is actually working or not.
Yeah, you gotta take some time to try to see, like say take 2 or 3 days and take 2 tablets, and then take 2 or 3 days and take no
No, no,
tablets
no,
and
no.
see
I
how
only
your
take
body
one. I
responds.
take one. That's why they call it one a day. I take one a day.
Yeah, it's a one a day. I know what you're talking about, because
I,
Yeah.
I
I'm
know
getting
what
up
you're
there in
saying.
age and I got to take a one a day myself. My wife insists on it.
My point was saying that
Yeah.
you have to see how is it respond, making your body respond. That's what I'm saying. And that was a narrative. It wasn't saying literally go take 2 tablets or literally do that. It was a narrative for you to actually pay attention closely to what it does to your body.
Yeah.
Add an extra different oils as well, grapeseed, olive oil, um, avocado oil. Adding some of those oils to your body and to your hair as well will also um, do wonders for you.
You know what I also put on my hair? African shea butter to add that, that healthiness. I use African shea butter.
Yeah. So again, that's why I was asking those kind of intrusive questions. Just trying to find out what all are doing, and what is it that you're, because when you asked me the question, my opinion, and it's just that,
Mhm.
it's just an opinion. I'm not an expert. I can't give you expert advice. I'm just saying it's my opinion, and my experience tells me that that's like you could possibly be getting all of this, releasing all of these good nutrients is just by drinking the water. The added amount of hydration could
Mhm.
produce the same things that you're seeing as a result, the result that you're expecting from this one a day. You call it like a placebo effect. It's creating and generating the results that you want to see, but we don't realize that water and actually being able to be hydrated, what it means to actually be hydrated, is way different than the supplement. I mean, water
Yeah.
itself is, I mean, it records, it unlocks all of these minerals, the ones
Right.
outside of the body and the ones inside the body.
Yeah, it keeps you hydrated, keeps your body hydrated inside and out. You're right about that.
Right. But also, is your body absorbing the water, or is it just flushing through your system? I mean, both is a kind of a good thing, but the water needs to be digested. The water needs to be digested just like food does.
Like,
Sometimes
what do
you
you
have to
mean,
trick your
like
body into
going
do that.
through? Like, what do you
Huh?
mean going through my body? Like,
Well, if you take in a lot of, if you retain a lot of water, you're putting on water weight, blah blah blah. We already know that. You could sweat it out, but if you're urinating a lot, then and not retaining the water, if you can check your skin, there's this little test that I used to do where I'd pinch the skin and release it, and the amount of elasticity that goes back into place, how long it takes for your skin to go back into place, tells me how hydrated you are,
no,
without being weird and looking at stuff like.
my skin is pretty tight. I pinch my skin a lot to make
Well, no,
sure that
it's an actual system that
I,
it's an older system that I'm using, that I found in one
Uh-huh.
of my fitness training books when I was going to school for it. It's an actual
Yeah,
system for
because I
how
pinched
long it takes for your skin to go back to its original place.
yeah, I pinch my skin a lot, so I really don't have no problems with my skin. And I pinch my face too, so
Well, that's not necessarily the point. I'm sorry. I'm just the reason why I brought it up is just as a measuring tool.
oh,
The
okay,
amount of
well.
water, the amount of water that you take in, right, is going to go through your bladder, it's going through your liver, it's going to flush out everything, and then you have to use the restroom really bad and blah blah. You're not really digesting the water. What I mean by digesting is your stomach turns on and your metabolism turns on, and it actually cycles the water into your bloodstream, not
Mm-hmm.
just going through your bowels. There's a big difference
Mm-hmm.
between the two. That's what hydration is. So I'm just trying to share that. I mean, you'd have to go and look at it. It's a short study. It's not really long. You just go ahead and take a look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just wanted to share those things. I'm gonna go ahead and
No, no, no,
hit the
no, no,
bricks.
no, because I'm not. Yeah, because I'm in school and I study a lot, so I kind of look into things,
Oh, okay.
So your suggestion is really good. I understand what
I
you're
hope it's
saying.
helpful. Uh, what are you
It
going
was
to school
very
for, if you
helpful.
don't mind me asking?
I'm going to be. I'm getting my bachelor's in history, and
Oh, one of my
and for
favorite subjects.
what history, yes, and and I was thinking about getting a master's in science.
Well, I
That's what I.
encourage you to go for both of those things. Those are both useful tools, especially in this day and age now. You can use more of
Yeah,
those things.
because I'm taking physics right now, and it's kind of interesting. So it's kind of encouraged me to go into science a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm what you would call autodidactic. I'm obsessed with studying this stuff, and I don't have a teacher or a diploma or any of that stuff to go along with any of this stuff. Uh, I'm just a truck driver, lady. What do you want? Um,
I understand what you're saying.
but because I have the free time to be able to research these things, I can obsess over the small things, the little things, right? Um,
Mhm.
like you're going into physics and whatnot. You're going into study emotion, things of that nature, momentum. Then you're going
Mhm.
to dive into quantum theory and string theory and quantum physics, right? I mean, once you start learning what vibration is in these sciences, then everything kind of just expands. Like as soon as you get into it, you realize that you don't know anything and you have to start over. It's one of those things that
I
you
know.
love and hate. You love
Yeah.
to hate the fact that you don't know anything and you have to start from ground one. I think one of my favorite scientists is Neil deGrasse Tyson is always going on and on about
Oh
that
my
same
God! I
thing.
used to watch. I used to watch his show. Man, I miss it.
Yeah, I still I follow his channel and whatnot. He posts things. Actually, he has a blog talk, so I listen to his blog talks, and he has interviews with a bunch of different people. They tried to replace him to try to see if they can get the formula right. You can't. You can't replace soul. You just can't. And Neil's got soul. I don't agree with everything that he believes in, but as far as his science goes, spot on every time. Super intelligent. Another guy I like to listen to is Graham Hancock. He's not a scientist, I know, but he's a journalist that interviews any and everybody that is in a field of science. You can listen to him for hours, interviewing these people that are like boring as hell by themselves, but he kind of brings a spice to them. So yeah.
Speaking of education, I don't agree with what the educated system is teaching people in this day and age, but if it I'm trying to get my words out, but basically why people are trying to get college degrees and trying to get into their field, it's all about survival. If you think about it, look at the times we in, it's all about survival and trying to get out of the situation that we in, which is like low income, get out of the low income bracket and try to get into like a higher income, trying to get into that white collar. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. That's an Amber Alert.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure all of us are getting ready to get one in just a minute. No, you're absolutely right, though. I mean, we are in a trying time right now where we definitely need to try to figure out tools to survive. Uh, I don't want to say the coming apocalypse, but just the coming turmoil, right? I mean, especially um, us black people, we come from this sort of trauma. We're dealing with this sort of uh, uh, Stockholm syndrome, as I usually like to say, and we're always based on survival. You know, our grandparents were survivors, and they wanted the best for us. So now we have a whole generation based on trying to do exactly that,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So anything with education, anything with information, we're like sponges. We want to soak up as much as that as we can, so that we can be useful. We want to. We're trying to fill a void uh, of I guess we can say who we are, right? We all
Mhm.
have this inner kind of void that is like an empty space, and we don't know what to fill it with. We don't know why our spiritual cups are empty. You know, when it comes to our identity, who we are and whatnot. So we try to fill it with as much knowledge as we can, trying to prove ourselves.
Yeah, I want to apologize for earlier. That was an emergency alert. I guess California is gonna get ready to go back on lockdown again. I guess so. I want to
No,
apologize.
Yikes.
don't apologize for that. That's a good that's a good message. I'm on my way to California now. It's good to know.
Yeah,
Oh
because we're
goodness.
on high alert out here because people is the COVID-19 thing is on a rise again, especially where I'm at. So
Uh,
it's getting bad.
y- if you want to give my recipe for dealing with COVID while I'm out here on this road. I mean, I if you want, I can share. If anybody was is interested in listening, you know, to my weirdness or whatever the hell.
No, no, no,
Uh,
no. Sharon, I like weirdness. I love weirdness.
I've been to every hot spot in the country where I mean, like literally from FEMA loads that I've been taking. I'll tell you more about that, which would scare the shit out of you. Um, to just your food and everything. I have a reefer trailer, so I'm hauling food all the time. So I'm in and out of these hot spots. Every one of these hot spots in the country I've already been through, right? Why is it that the truck drivers, me included, seem to have this, oh, I don't know, immunity to it? I mean, if it wasn't for truck drivers, this country would be on its back right now, but it's not. I find that to be
Mhm.
very fascinating that we're still out here. I mean, mind you, we are isolated individually because we're all in our individual trucks. We're in our own place and whatnot. We have our own individual spaces and whatnot. But we are literally handling things out here that are directly involved with these places that are having these cases. Walmart, um, JBS Food, Tyson, things of that nature. Uh, your GSF, where all your fast food comes from, to any of the side companies and whatnot. Why is it that the truck drivers don't seem to be sick?
Yeah, that's kind of like, I never heard of truck drivers ever getting sick when they on the road. Because I guess it's because you guys travel a lot. You guys don't stay in one place. That's probably what
Right.
I'm getting
That's a good
from what you're
guess.
saying. Hmm.
That's a good guess. But at the same time, we're still going right into the heart of these things. And we have to, sit for certain amounts of time before we're loaded. All this kind of stuff goes on. We're
Hmm.
like literally the guy next to me, parked right now, has a bottom fed trailer that, uh, uh, bear with me. You're not going to like the sound of this, but the meat, the leftover meat and things and whatnot from your butcheries, your commercial butcheries, get put into this trailer to go and make your sausages and your hot dogs and things of that nature. Right? It's not a refrigerated truck. It's just a trailer with the doors on the bottom of the trailer that open up and drop out all of the guts and all that stuff, all the fun stuff that makes your sausages. Yeah, he's asleep right now. His load probably delivers in the morning. Kind of disgusting, right? I'm just saying. We're out here handling all of the clean things about this country and the dirty things about this country. All right, now I'm going on a rant and all that stuff, but here's what I like to do. I've got a few things that I keep in my truck, um, aside from my spiritual stuff that I keep in here and whatnot, because I have my spirituality too. Uh, but let's see. Let me climb back here, pop open my nice little refrigerator, and I've got let's see, elderberry. Elderberry is a good um, source of all your like you take a one a day. Elderberry is full of the same things that you would get in your one a day supplement, right? So I keep that. Always keep two things of that. Um, let's see, apple cider vinegar. Always good to add to your tea. You can't really take the flavor of the apple cider vinegar. It's a little too strong. Um, put it in
I
your tea.
usually put apple cider vinegar in my water. That's
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
do.
I,
Oh my God,
warm
I don't like
water.
the taste, but I have to, I hate the taste because it's bitter, but I just do it anyways.
Yeah. Let's see. I have lavender honey, uh, wildflower and lavender honey. I keep that. I mean, I have to keep certain things because technically I'm allergic to pineapples and oranges and whatnot. But it's pineapples and oranges that have the most vitamin C to help fight against this COVID and whatnot, right? So
Yeah,
I'm kind of out here I'm out here in the wilderness with nothing. I can't have it, right? So I have to have
I take
turmeric.
yeah, because I take airborne and emergency. My godmom introduced me to emergency, so I
Yeah,
had that in my emergency storage right now.
yeah. I mean, it's good and everything, but again, it's one of those commercial things that's full of sugar. There's so many things that you can take. Um, let's say fennel seed. Fennel seed is another good thing that I have in here. Uh, let's see, red chili powder, or not powder. I'm sorry, the whole chili. I have whole chilies that I keep. It's like, what are what are chilies used for? Chilies are they're oh, what is that? A blood thinner, right? So you mix that with your like willow leaves from like a willow tree, and you have your bufferin, your aspirin, right?
Hmm.
There's your aspirin right there. So you take, oh, let's see, some vinegar, a little shot of vinegar in your turmeric, and maybe some ginseng. That right there, knock out a bunch of stuff. Just give it a try. Try it for yourself. Come up with a mix that you like. That's one of the things that I like to do.
Yes, Donigo Zen just made a great comment.
Oh, I didn't even see that. I'm sorry. I was looking at my cabinet. Hold on. It come back. Uh, she said she has to disagree. Oh, she does think the education system is doing enough.
Oh no, I don't, because I just learned so much by listening by you that I would have never learned in school. So that's why I'm saying, like, no, I have to disagree. This is the real education.
Oh, okay. Well, there is one thing that you would have to take. I have to give a disclaimer, right? I practice African spirituality. I tell this to everybody just so I don't freak anybody out and everything like that. I'm putting that nicely, right? Um, this is root work. This is the root work side of understanding your diet, understanding your different things that you're coming into contact with, like the fluoride in your toothpaste and whatnot. But what is fluoride exactly? Well, fluoride is a metal, right? It is literally a metal, just for starters, but it falls under the mineral category and whatnot. But
This is
also,
such a good conversation, but we are going to have to come to a close. Thank you
oh,
guys
I
so
done did it
much.
again.
Thank you so much. I wanted everyone to recognize that I am going to leave the stream open for a couple of more minutes so we can engage with African Millennial, because I was having such connection issues. I wasn't able to drop her link, but she is in the chat. So we're going to have a couple more minutes to engage with her. Thank you again, everyone, for participating in the panel tonight. So as we close, I would love for us to just have, as we do in our usual fashion, just state one thing that you learned from either the stream, the guest on the panel, or our panel hostess tonight, the lovely Miss African Millennial. And of course, we're going to start with you, Queen Diamond Princess. And then if you would like to definitely add on to that, sure you're available. I want you to absolutely close out the panel with your last glow up thoughts in regards to the problem with millennials, and what are your closing thoughts in regards to this conversation tonight, which I think has been phenomenal. I think it has given us opportunity to look at the perspective in different from different angles, and it has also given us the opportunity to highlight some of those, kind of uncertain spaces as well. So because this is what it's all about, you all, just being able to communicate and become support.
Did she drop off again?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
But I'm gonna. Can I go ahead and start?
please.
Okay, so the problems with millennials is that it is up to us to break the cycle of what our parents has taught us or what they did not taught us. We're gonna have to do better with our children than our parents did with us because our parents messed us up on so many levels is that it's hard for us to get a home and it's hard for us to even, get the necessary foods that we need. But we're the ones that's going to have to do better for our children, teach them the right things, teach them how to get a job, teach them job skills, teach our daughters how to cook, sew, clean, get job training, teach the men how to change the oils in the car, teach them how to build a home. Something like what our ancestors did during Wall Street, the days of Wall Street. We can get back to those days, but it's going to take a lot of time, but we can get through it. Our parents shouldn't have taught us this because they know better. They know who their grandparents are because their grandparents lived on Wall Street, but they forgot gotten to teach us those skills themselves. So they dropped the ball there, but it's up to us to pick up the ball from where they dropped the ball. So that's all I have to say on that.
Word. I can feel that. Um, I guess African millennial. Let's go ahead and have yours.
Yeah, so I basically agree with everything that Diamond Princess said. A lot of people just look at millennials as this thing that fell out of the sky, but a lot of millennials were created to be this way, and I definitely agree. Our parents definitely did not teach us enough, and it's I always say this when parents keep saying things like, I don't want my kid to know struggle, there's nothing wrong with that, but your kid has to learn how to do things. You can't just have your kid be a princess or a prince, not know how to do any yard work, not know how to do any tangible skills, and then when they're older, have them basically be a waste without their degree or their college or their education. They don't know how to do real life skills. They don't know the type of foods that are good for them. They think that eating DoorDash and all that kind of stuff is great. They think that dating on Tinder and not having sociable skills is great. Like they think all these things are normal when they really are not normal, and it keeps getting worse. For the millennials that exist today, you have to take accountability and understand that, okay, maybe my parents did drop the ball, but now I am in my 20s, I'm in my 30s. I have to grow up. I have to learn how to do these skills. So even though, yes, there's an issue with millennials, millennials themselves now have to take accountability and understand that they have to change their actions and actually become adults and kind of unlearn some of the things that are acceptable in society. So yeah, that's what I have to say about that. I'm not sure if Courtney is here or not, but go ahead and like her stream, support her book. Let's all be accountable. Let's all help each other. Let's all keep this whole momentum going on because, just to kind of change gears, this is a very, very unprecedented time. People are really struggling. They're going through a lot of things. A lot of people don't want to admit that they're depressed and that they're really going through things. So please make sure you're checking up on your friends and your family. And, let's start being the community that some of us never had. Oh, there you are. No problem. Not really. Oh, and just to answer your question, why did the man leave the house? Is it willingly or because they never wanted to be there in the first place? Um, it could be a mix of both. I can't really hear what you're saying, to be honest. It's like cutting in and out. But try going out and coming back in, perhaps. But yeah, that's what I was talking about last time on one of my live streams. It's like, I don't want to make this a gender war thing, but I guess I'm ending it off with the gender war. But honestly, I always say this: if a man is a bad man, you just gotta leave him alone and look ahead. You know what I mean? Like that's what it is. I'm not gonna sit here and say that if a black man is horrible, you shouldn't say that he's horrible. But most black men that at least I talk to, they're being responsible. So it could just be the men in your area that are like that, because I don't want to sit there and say that all black men are horrible. Like, they're not. The ones that are doing bad things, to be honest, a lot of them were taught those bad things. So just try to find a different man because we're talking about men not being in the house. Have you actually gone and seen why, looked into his history? Like, was his father in this house? Because if his father wasn't in this house, but you expect him to be in the house, it's not happening. It's just not happening. I have a cousin, serial cheater, horrible cheater, but he got the cheating from his dad, and his mom accepted the cheating. So a man like that is a man that's set in his ways. Like, there's nothing you could do about a man like that. You know what I mean? So it's like sometimes when you guys just give these black men a bad rep, it's like most black men I know are they're actually doing things out here. Like, they're actually not that bad. So I don't know. Could you actually elaborate what you mean by that comment in the comment section? Because I'm kind of confused with what you mean. Snuggles 668. Like, I kind of don't understand what you were saying. Were you saying that the questions were too broad? I'm just a little confused of who that question was directed to. But Courtney, you could close the show. I'm waiting for you to close your own show. But yeah. Because Courtney, I could be here all day, but I need to respect your time and the time of your family. So But who was being general with the question? Okay, Snuggle668, do you want to click the link and actually voice out your opinion on what you're saying? Because I don't understand the question.
Okay. So Snuggles is very, let me tell you, Snuggles basically is very let me tell you, his conversations get very intense. Um so
Oh, then Snuggles, you should subscribe to Donnie Goes In channel as well.
oh, they're cut from the same cloth. Got it. Um so the link is dropped if you do want to come up, but I just want to again thank you, African Millennial, for addressing this topic. You did a fabulous job, very engaging. I think at one point someone even said there are a lot of people in here tonight. What's going on? They were like, this is rare. And it really I think appealed across, and it spans across different across different different levels. This was not a conversation just for one particular set group. This was definitely a conversation that went beyond, I think, what was expected. And I think this is a worthwhile conversation to actually have again if you're up for it.
Absolutely.
But you know, definitely this gives me a lot to unpack and, to weigh in on for next week. The problem with Generation Xers, um, I plan on going there. I appreciate you for being accountable tonight, being sincere, being authentic. And I am absolutely looking forward to us continuing to build these conversations and discussions, because I think this dialogue is so needed. The conversation absolutely needs to be elevated, and we need to come up with actual solution execution opinion. I hit very appreciative and uh, absolutely, you glow, girl. So